In today's class, we're going to be looking at proportion. Proportion is a relationship between two quantities such that when one quantity changes, the other changes in a specific way. There are two types of proportion for your level. We have the direct proportion and the indirect proportion. In indirect proportion, when one quantity increases, the other quantity also increases. Or when one quantity decreases, the other quantity decreases. Remember, the proportion means the relationship between two quantities. Okay? If one changes, the other one also changes. So if the change in one is increasing and the other one is also increasing, okay, by the same amount, then we'll have a direct proportion. If the first one is decreasing and the other quantity is also decreasing by the same amount, then it's also a direct proportion. So direct proportion means that as one quantity is increasing, the other quantity is also increasing by the same amount, or when one quantity is decreasing, the other quantity is also decreasing by the same amount. Okay, let's take for instance, if you buy a book for 500 naira, okay, if you buy one book for 500 naira, if you want to buy 10 books, you're going to pay more. So as the number of books increases, the amount you're going to pay also increases. So this relationship between the amount of book and the number of books is a direct proportion. Reason is, as you buy more, you're going to pay more. Okay, so let's take some examples on direct proportion. It's very simple to solve. I'm going to show you how you can approach any question in direct proportion and solve it right. So our first example here is, if 3 candies cost 30 naira, if 3 candies cost 30 naira, how much will 6 candies cost? If 3 candies cost 30 naira, how much will 6 candies cost? So if you want to answer this question, it's very simple. You just write from the question. We said we have 3 candies. Write 3 candies. Just follow me. Draw an arrow and then write 30 naira. So we just simplify the first sentence. 3 candies cost 30 naira. Okay. And the second part of the sentence, we have 6 candies. 6 candies. We put an arrow. Right now, we don't know the cost of the candy. So we're going to represent this with an unknown. So I'm going to use any letter of the alphabet. In this case, I'm going to use Y. Y is an unknown. We don't know how much 6 candy is going to cost. So that is what we want to solve. All right. So the Y is going to give us something in naira. How much 6 candy is going to cost? So how do we now solve this? Look at the first line. 3 candies gives 30 naira. So we're going to write 3 all over 30. We're comparing number of candies to amount. So the ratio is 3 over 30. Put an equal to sign. And then let's do for the second line. The second line is 6 candies, okay, number, okay, to amount, which is Y. In this case, we have not known the value of Y yet. So what we're going to do right now is what we call cross multiply. We're going to cross multiply. So the number at the top left will multiply the number at the bottom right. Number at the top right will multiply the number at the bottom left. So we're going to multiply 3 by Y. 3 times Y is equal to, we're going to multiply 6 by 30. 6 times 30. Okay, so 3 times Y is 3Y. is equal to 6 times 30 is 180. All right, so all we know right now is that 3y is 180, but we want to find the value of just y, not 3y. So what we're going to do is to divide both sides by 3. Why are we dividing by 3? Because 3 is a number that is written together with y. That number is called coefficient. So we will always divide both sides by the coefficient of the later. In this case, the coefficient here is 3. So we're going to divide 3y by 3. What we do to the left hand side, we're going to do the same thing to the right hand side. The right hand side is 180. We're still going to divide this by 3. Okay, in this case, 3 can divide itself. 1 can divide 3. 1. So we have 1y, but 1y is written as y. Anytime you see a letter written, it means one of that letter. So we don't write 1y. 1y is simply the letter y. Okay, so on the right hand side, 3 can divide 180 to give us 6, because 18 divided by 3 is 6, and then 0 divided by 3 is 0. So our y is 60. So what does this mean? This means that the original question is, how much are we going to buy 6 candies? Remember, y is the amount we're buying 6 candies. So we can say therefore 6 candies costs 60 naira. So this is very, very simple. Let me show you one more example. It's very, very simple. Okay, here we have, if 5 apples cost 50 naira, how much will 10 apples cost? Example 2, if 5 apples cost 50 naira, how much will 10 apples cost? So just like we did, the first part of that sentence says 5 apples. Just write 5 apples. What's the cost? Put an arrow. The cost is 50 naira. Put 50. Okay, and then in the second part of that same sentence, we'll have 10 apples cost. How much will 10 apples cost? So we'll write 10 apples. However, we don't know the value of the 10 apples. We don't know how much it costs. So we're going to use a letter. I'll just keep using y, but you can use any letter, A, B, C, Z, Y, any letter M you like using. But let me be consistent with y. So we have 5 apples cost 50, 10 apples. We do not know how much 10 apples cost, and so we represent it with the letter y. What did we do? We'll write out the ratio of number of apples to amount. So in the first line, we'll have 5 apples, and then the amount is 50. So we'll have 5 over 50. And in the second line, we have 10 apples, and the amount is y, which we're going to solve for. Okay, remember what we do here. Anytime we have this, we're going to do cross multiply. So when we cross multiply, 5 will multiply y, and then 50 we multiply 10. Okay, 50 multiply 10, 5 will multiply y. All right, so 5y here, which is 5, the same thing as 5 times y, is equal to 50 times 10 is 500. All right, do you remember what we'll do here? We're looking for y. However, what we'll have here is 5y. What do we do to find y? We divide both sides by the coefficient of y. Coefficient is the number written together with the y. Okay, so the coefficient here is 5. So we're going to divide both sides by 5. Divide both sides by 5. Okay, on the left side we have 5y. So 5y, we're going to divide it by 5. On the right side, we have 500, so we're going to have 500 divided by 5. Okay, so 5 can divide itself. 5 can divide 5, 1. remember what we said. If we have one y is the same as just writing y. Okay, 5 can divide this 1 0 5. 0 divided by 5 is 0. This 0 divided by 5 is 0. So 0 over any number is same as 0, just like 0 times any number is 0. So it means 500 divided by 5 is 100. Okay, and what is this y? Remember, we assumed it. Y is the amount for 10 apples. So we can say 10 apples will cost 10 apples 10 apples will cost 100 naira. So that's the answer. Okay, let's take one last example. In this example, very simple. If 2 bags of rice weigh 20 kg, what is the weight of 4 bags of rice? I hope you understand that in all these examples we're taking, when one of the quantities is increasing, the other one is also increasing. Okay, so they are all direct proportion. If 2 bags of rice is weighing 20 kg, it means that the weight of 4 bags of rice will be higher. Remember, from 2 we have 20. If 2 increases to 4, the weight will also increase. So this is a direct proportion. Whenever you're given a question, make sure you know if it is a direct proportion or indirect proportion. So for this question, the first part of the sentence, we have two bags of rice. 2 bags, put an arrow. Okay, 2 bags weigh 20 kg. Okay, you remember that? And the second part of the question says, what is the weight of 4 bags? So we write 4 bags. 4 bags is B. 4 bags. 4 bags. Put an arrow. We do not know. Remember, you can use any letter, but since I'm already using Y, no need using every letter. Y is enough for me. You can use X, you can use B, you can use P, whatever you like. So what are we going to do? We're going to compare bags to weight. For the first line, we'll have 2 all over 20. 2 bags cost 20 kg. Put an equal to sign. For the second line, we'll have 4 bags, okay, and Y, which we're going to solve for. What do we do next? Cross multiply. If we cross multiply, we're going to have 2 times Y. 2 times Y is same as 2Y, and then we'll have 20 times 4. Okay, 20 times 4. So we'll have 2Y is equal to 80. 2Y is equal to 80. What do we do here? We're looking for Y, but what we have here is 2Y is 80. We'll divide both sides by 2. Divide both sides by 2, because 2 is the coefficient of Y. 2 is a number written together with Y. So 2Y on the left hand side, we're going to divide it by 2. 80, we're going to divide it by 2. All right, so 2 on the left side can divide the 2. The 2 in the denominator can divide 2 in the numerator. We have 1Y, which is also the same as Y. 80 divided by 2 is 40. So we go back to the question. The question is 4 bags of rice. How much will 4 bags weigh? Okay, what is the weight of 4 bags? So we can say 4 bags of rice weigh, according to the question, weigh 40 kg. I hope you understood the lesson. It's very simple. Look at the first part of the question. Write the first number, put an arrow, and the second number. Look at the second part of the question. Write, put an arrow, write the second number. Okay, write the first line in terms of ratio, the left hand number on the left hand divided by number on the right hand for the first line. For the second line, the number on the left hand also divided by number on the right hand for the second line. Make sure there's an equal to in between these two ratios. Cross multiply, and if you have anything outside y is equal to, divide both sides by the number together with y. Okay, I'll see you in the activity section.